Hello YouTube, welcome back to another Genshin Impact video. So today's video we're going to be going over Bennett. You guys have been asking for this Bennett showcase for a while or have been wondering how I use my Bennett. So for today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how I use my Bennett. This Bennett build will primarily focuses on Bennett as an attack buffer. You just press his burst skill for the attack buff or healing, and then you just swap him out while focusing on one main stat, which is basically his base attack, and then plug in as much energy recharge as you can up to, I want to say, at least 200%. The reason why you want a really high base attack weapon for him, because his base attack buff only scales from his character and his weapon base attack. So basically this white number right here. So any other attack source from artifacts, from feather, weapon secondary stats, weapon passives, attack percentage rolls or anything, they don't contribute. They contribute to this green number. So to increase this, you want your Bennett to be as high level as you can, as well as this base attack from the weapons. So best in slot is going to be Aquila Favonia, because Aquila has the highest base attack out of all the swords currently that's available. All secondary stats, again, like Summon Shaper or the Flute, this attack stat does not contribute to his attack buff, it just contributes to Bennett's overall DPS. So you want to look for the sword with the highest base attack. Even a level 90 BlackSword only gives you 510. Second choice would be SkywardBlade. It gives you a nice chunk of base attack as well as the juicy energy recharge as secondary stats. Two stats that you need for this build. The reason why I don't recommend SkywardBlade as best in slot, because you could get energy recharge from artifacts sands and the artifact sub-rolls. For 4-star weapons, any weapons that has the secondary energy recharge would be a good choice to have. Best 4-star weapons that you could go for with the energy recharge is going to be Festering Desire. This weapon was currently free that you could get in 1.2 Dragonspine. This weapon gives you a pretty nice chunk of base attack, max at level 90 as 510, which matches the BlackSword, but it also comes with the secondary energy recharge that you can use. Now, if you don't want energy recharge for your secondary stats, and you just want to focus on the highest 4-star base attack because you don't have any 5-star weapons, then the Black Cliff Sword and the Prototype Rancor maxes out at 565 base attack. So pretty close to the SkywardBlade and the Summon Shaper for just max base attack. And then, like I said, you could always focus on energy recharge from your artifacts. There's nothing wrong going with Sacrificial Sword or Favonius Sword too, but because Festering Desire has a way higher base attack than these two weapons, Festering Desire will basically be a better choice given that you could get energy recharge from your artifacts. So onto artifacts. For this build, you want to be on a 4-piece Noblesse set for the additional 20% attack buff for the whole party. This 20% attack buff stacks with his burst instantly, but does not contribute to his attack buff, meaning both the attack buff and the 4-piece Noblesse set, they basically have their own timer. The only stat that you want from the artifacts is just 200% energy recharge. Now, if you have less than 180% energy recharge, you can slot in another Pyro unit to grant the double Pyro resonance, as well as the additional Pyro energy particles to help Bennett fill his burst faster. For my recommendations, you want to run energy recharge sands, swap it to attack when you're close to 180% energy recharge, and then Pyro goblet, and then crit rate, crit damage for more damage. These are my artifacts for Bennett. You can swap out the circlet for more HP if you want the extra healing. Constellations, this build works perfectly fine at C0 just by having Bennett, but it gets even better with C1. So C1 is where you want to be at because you're able to get the attack buff without having to wait to be over 70%. Ultimately, it gives you another 20% from Bennett's base attack. So that's this little 20% increase is as much as leveling his talent buff 3 more times. Then the ultimate boost that you could get from his burst is to get him to C5, which adds 3 additional levels to his burst. So having C1 to C5, you're basically getting 6 extra levels on his burst basically for the attack buff or healing if you want it. Talents for this build, you only need to level his burst. I use this buff so much that Bennett is basically a perma to any of my team builds. So I am going to be crowning this as soon as I have enough Mora. As far as his other talents of the build, you don't need to level his normal attack because you're not going to be auto-attacking with them like a main DPS. And his E skill here is just basically used to generate energy particles for him or the other pyro unit that you brings. Yes, you can charge his elemental skill and get more energy particle, but just so you know, every time you charge his elemental skill here, he doesn't get super armor. So if he takes a hit and he gets interrupted, you basically lose out on this whole downtime of him getting hit, no damage and no energy particles, and you also increase the duration the longer you hold it. So you just want to tap his skill, get the energy particle, he absorbs it, and then just swap him out. And then when he's ready again, just swap him and tap, get the energy particle, and with high energy recharge, you'll basically just get his ultimate extremely quick from that. For team composition, as I stated previously in my Xiao's video, Bennett is a staple to any team if you want to build the most damage. That means all those crazy 1 million damage, one-shot melt, vaporized builds that you see, they all use this Bennett build. High burst talent from Bennett with a high base attack, so max level 90 and a max level 90 weapon 5-star preferably for the highest base attack that you can get to make the most out of his attack buff. You just need to pair Bennett with any main DPS that you want. I'm going to be pairing him up with Xiao in this video. The last two slot here, you can slot in anything you want. Again, just having Bennett on the team and a main DPS is all that you really need. And because Bennett's a Pyro, he's a healer and he's attack buffer, he really fills out 3 main roles. So you can easily just slot in another Pyro unit to get the double Pyro resonance for another 25% attack, which is stronger than 4-piece Noblesse set permanently. And if you have another second Pyro unit, but lower than 180% energy recharge of Bennett, it all evens out. They can help each other fill up their gauge pretty quick while maintaining that 25% attack buff. But ultimately, it's just Bennett and main DPS for any team composition. Anything else is really up to you, even in the Spiral Abyss where you run 2 teams. So without further ado, I will show you some gameplay, how this build works, and how you can stack up more attack, and why you should use it if you want to simply double your DPS. The DPS that I will be pairing him up with in this video is going to be Xiao, because you guys were asking how Xiao's damage would be without Bennett's buff. So I will have clips to show that Xiao's damage before and after Bennett's buff. And these are my Xiao stats. Nothing has changed. So please enjoy the rest of this video and let me know down in the comments below what you want to see next. And as always, thank you again for tuning into the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more content, and press the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, peace.
一体どこから。よし、出発だ。燃えろ。燃えろ。いってってってって。一体どこから。燃えろ。くらい。紅冒険団。よし、出発だ。よいしょ。よし、出発だ。くらえ。紅冒険団出発。ボンボン爆弾。燃えろ。はじけろ。よいしょ。わめくがいい。無能。へっ。無能。ここだ。ひゃっ。無能。消えろ。ぜなぜ 無能ベニー冒険団出発。全力攻撃だ。わめくがいい。ひゃっ無能ひゃっ全力攻撃。わめくがいい。ここだ。へっだっせくらえ。みんながそばにいてくれ。消えろ。ここだ。イエ無能全力攻撃だ。わめくがいい。はっせ無能全力攻わめくがいい。イエッいってててていみんながそばにいてくれる。わめくがいい。ここだ。ふっせ無能ここだ。全力攻撃だ。わめくがいい。ベニー冒険団出発。みんながそばにいてくれ。西洋鍋ここだ。ここだ。ここだ。無能全力攻撃。わめくがいい。ここだ。へっ無能ベニー冒険団出発。